Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today, hopefully, let's talk about the newest episode of Fear the Walking Dead Season 4. I said hopefully because I've been trying to sign on for at least a good 30 minutes, and it wasn't letting me on. So I don't know if there's a problem with YouTube or the internet. If there is, I hope it stays strong for this. So, no, I'm late too because it just wouldn't like jump started, wouldn't tell me anything's wrong. It wasn't like lagging out or frozen, but I see someone said the crossover was a mistake. In my opinion, we haven't seen enough yet. But let me, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me do the intro real quick, and then we'll get to the first impression review. If you're new here, we're going to do a first impression review, my review of the newest episode of Fear the Walking Dead, Season 4, Episode 2. About 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to go into fan feedback, where we read your comments, pick out as many as we can, and discuss some things from the recent episode. Now, I have not seen a lot about positive stuff from this episode, but for me, it started off strong. For me, it started off very strong, and that has a lot to do with the characters. You ever have a piece of hair or lint somewhere on you, but since it's so close to your eye, it's like, you know, it's just that blur? I feel like I got that. So if I'm rubbing my face, I'm hallucinating bugs, I'm going crazy. Somebody 302 me. Anyway, so it kicks off with their 1 year anniversary, so that's a little bit of information that we got in what they're calling the Diamond. So that's the baseball stadium that they're living in. Madison and Alicia, they're back and forth, small but amazing, important, and it highlights one of my biggest flaws, or one of the things that kept me from connecting with these characters in previous seasons. Just that little bit, you know what I mean? A little goofing around, a little, what did they say again? She came over and said, you didn't sleep. Oh, and then Madison said something about, she called her Nick, and she's like, you couldn't give me a courtesy laugh. Haha, see, da-da-da. A little bit of emotion, something different from a Madison character who was so stale before. A lot of critics and a lot of fans thought that character was just extremely stale before. Writing like this and fleshing this character out in such a way, it doesn't always have to be comedy, and it doesn't always have to be conflict. For me, I would categorize this as a little bit of a reward, because it's enjoyable to watch, you know, the little banter back and forth. And they do that again with Nick and Alicia. Again, so small, but I don't know, for some reason it makes you connect with these characters even more, and especially their connections together, like the mother and daughter connection, but then brother and sister. Having Alicia, or who says it? Lucy tells him, don't you get bored inside here? You never come out on the runs. And then Alicia said something about, let's meet up later and be bored together, stare at a wall. I don't know. I just butchered that. But the banter with them back and forth was actually fucking awesome. It's what we're missing. And again, it's only a little bit, but I'm just highlighting. Hopefully they'll continue that throughout the season. That's what was severely lacking in the previous seasons, for me anyway. Found him. That's one thing I want to touch on, because I don't know if Madison is talking about before with Nick, or if, and not before the apocalypse, but before as in we saw it, you know, but Lucy didn't see it, or she means, which is what I think it means, where she found him after the dam blew up. And a lot of people are annoyed we're not getting a lot of, reveals yet about the dam and their reunion. And I think I predicted and I thought they would have done that in this episode. Get it done and over with. But it does look like they are going to give us pieces throughout the season. If they didn't do it in this one episode, they're going to give us little pieces. We pretty much got the Diamond aspect in their settlement, but later on we're going to get a little tidbit about the Nick and when Madison found him. Maybe they were separated for longer than we thought. Maybe they were separated for a few months even, you know, not just a few days. And that's after the dam. The 457 on the flag. Guys, that's the number of walkers they got, right? Did I get that right? because they wrote 12 when they herded the walkers up. Is that what they're doing? I'll be honest. I like the idea of having the mystery with the flags, and then when I think they revealed it, right? They loaded maybe a dozen walkers up, and then they wrote 12 down. Maybe I got that wrong, but I'm a little disappointed we didn't get, I don't know, some big reveal with that. It was just, oh, okay. But again, that's not a negative. I don't care. I just thought that was something they were building up to be, something major. But we might get major stuff out of it. The kid part, if this was a surprise for you, I could see that. But that was probably one of the most predictable things in this episode. There's no way. There's no way. I don't want to offend anybody, but there's no way you were fooling us with that shit. The kid was definitely in on it from the get-go. You're finding her family, but she's not saying much. She has this weird way of asking about the turnips, right? Or the farming, asking how many people are here, the guns, all this information. She's asking all this shit, you know what I mean? And then she's reacting in a very odd way when it comes to her family and things going on. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you guys let me know. Did a lot of you get fooled by that? Were you like, oh my God, that was an awesome reveal? I thought it was, predictable as shit, but not hurtful. It didn't hurt the story. I was kind of like, okay, they threw us some clues, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And then they do the little bitty reveal. It wasn't anything major, so I don't take anything off from that. But the Vultures. Now, here's where we'll get into the rock and a hard place. In the world of The Walking Dead, you're always going to run into people wanting your shit, okay? We're always going to run into situations where our characters run into people and there's conflict, there's problems, whether it's taking your shit, taking half your shit, literally taking your shit. I don't know what that means. Anyway, we're always going to get that. We're never not going to get it. We might get a couple seasons like, for example, The Farm. The Farm didn't have anything like that in the original show. Season 1, let me think back. No one was trying to take their shit. It was just about survival. We may get a season in the future where it is just about survival and we don't have the human threat in that aspect. So if you're annoyed about the Vultures, they seem like a cross between the wolves and the saviors. The wolves, just by a little bit on how they act. Maybe they don't seem like them a lot. Just by the presence, showing up at the gates, wanting what they got. But they're kind of like the saviors, and we're not going to get into it. But you get what I'm saying. So for everyone who thinks that is redundant, it's getting repetitive, and it's like, oh my God, let's go already. Always the same type of threat. I feel you on that. I want to see where it goes first before I totally, because there's a part of me that always is ready for a human threat in this way. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to come up. So I don't know. This is where it gets tricky for me. For those who say it is repetitive, yes, I agree with you, but to a point, because if there's enough differences between them, like Joe, for example, the people at Terminus, and this is for the original show, they are human threats, but the differences between them are, so great, they're enjoyable. They're unique enough, they're different enough, and you can enjoy them without it feeling repetitive. If we got somebody who came in, like in The Walking Dead Season 9, someone shows up with a group of bad guys, and he's like, hey, I'm going to take all your shit, you're going to work for me. Yeah, that's like, oh my God, we literally just did this, But if somebody shows in and they're like, listen, our camp, our farm was done, this, that, and a third, we're coming in whether you like it or not. You're going to feed us or we're going to whatever, and it is a different type of conflict. Yeah, it's very similar, but if the differences are there, I give them credit for that. So that's all I got to say with the Vultures. I want to see where it goes, but if for you it's getting repetitive with the human threats, yeah, I understand it. I get it. But that in a nutshell, like I said, I'm enjoying Fear the Walking Dead a lot. I think the potential is great. I'm not really annoyed that we didn't get all the reunion information and reveals yet of how everyone got connected. If they want to save that for the storyline, it looks like they're doing something big with Nick. He had some problems. I guess he's a little traumatized. And then we have Strand. It looks like he was holding a rock. Is that what it was? I just caught it just as a second. It clicked in my head. I was staring at it. It looked like he was holding a rock. But my brain didn't tell me to, like, you know, oh, this is important information. I just kind of was staring at the screen. You know what I mean? So at the last minute when it clicked off of the image of him holding a rock, I thought, oh my God, wait a minute, that must be something important. I thought he was just holding a fucking rock. You know what I mean? So apparently that'll be important later on, I guess, or else he was just holding a fucking crack rock. I don't know. Anyway, him and Nick were busy since the time skip. For me, I like the episode. It's a solid, you know, okay, borderline good, heading in the right direction. And I only say that because a lot of what I'm going to really like in the episode rides on where this goes with the Vultures and with connecting the crossover. Because now we're playing around with time again. It looks like our group lost the community or suffered a big attack or suffered something that pushed him over the edge when it comes to the Vultures. And it doesn't look like the Vultures have been dealt with, because if they're dead, they wouldn't care about the flags. They wouldn't care about showing them where they found the flag and yada, yada, yada. So they got to still be out there. Maybe the Vultures played a part in them losing the settlement, and they're just out for revenge. Straight up, that's it. And that could be where Morgan comes into the picture. Morgan is like, listen, just don't go down this path. Find a different way, yada, yada, yada. No, it's not the same stadium, for people wondering. It's different stadiums from the last one to this one. No, not the same stadium. All right, so that's my review on it. It's good. It's a solid, okay, good, absolutely. A lot of potential, especially with what they're doing with the characters. I'm connecting with these characters probably the most I have ever since the previous seasons. And in order to judge the rest of the episode based on the Vultures, I need to see where that goes. Like, it was good. If the Vultures turn out to be, like, stupid and lame, of course this episode's going to be like, what's the point? These Vultures end up dumb. But if they're actually really cool, then yeah, this is an okay setup with it. That's what I meant to say. A part of me remembered they're kind of like the Wolves and the Saviors. They did the same shit the Wolves did with the music in the truck, luring them into the truck. Yeah. For a second there I was like, they're like the Wolves. And then I was talking, and then I thought, oh my God, they're nothing like the Wolves. Ronnie, what are you talking about? It was the truck and the music. That's what got me going. Anyway. So now we're going to go into the fan feedback. I want to hear what you guys have to say and see if you guys enjoyed the episode. I was going into this ready to not like it, obviously, before we saw the trailers. However, the trailers look really good, and I was honestly still unsure how the characters would be for me, because season 2 and 3... season 2, I think it was 2, almost killed, no, it was 3, almost killed, no, it was 2, Nick for me, as a character. I'm like, this idiot, you know, he left and then he's on his own, boo-hoo, get the fuck out of here, you dumbass. So, yeah, I was a little hesitant, but there's a lot of potential here, for me, as far as enjoying what they're doing with the characters. Wait, someone said... The Vultures feed off the misery of others. Hell yeah. What do you do with a villain like that? This is one thing I did want to highlight about the differences between villains. If there's a little bit of differences, it is a little more enjoyable. What do you do with a villain like that, where they show up and they don't want to hurt you, they don't want to kill you, you know, they don't want to attack you. They're just like, hey, you know, just give us your stuff, please. If you don't, that's fine. I'm going to sit here when you guys die, because you will. Everyone dies. We're just going to take your stuff. What do you do in that case? Do you just shoot him in the face? I mean, I know it's easy to say, yeah, fuck it, you know, because we're not in that situation. But if you were in that situation, then you would have to wonder, well, how much ammo do they got? How many guns do they got? How many people do they got? But I probably would just start shooting at them. Every now and then, you see how they're just sitting in their chairs? Just take somebody in your community from a different area and have them pop a pop shot at them, and then go to another part of the stadium and just shoot at them. close, you know, just to get them thinking maybe we shouldn't sit out front of this fucking stadium. Anyway, that part does intrigue me somewhat. A villain that is a villain, but they're not going to hurt you, da-da-da. Now, it is interesting, or I am curious to see what they're going to do to push it forward, because if the people in the stadium, our survivors, if they start actually solving these problems with the crops and they're going to survive, then what do the Vultures do in that case? Do they get violent? Then we got a super chat support from Godzilla 2472, $5 super chat. Yo, Ronnie, random question. How would you react if a walker said brains like zombies did in 1980s? I'd probably stop watching Fear the Walking Dead, even if it was The Walking Dead. If they had the walkers talk, that breaks it for me. I'm done. I'm out of here, bitches. I'm done. No mas. I don't do the talking zombies. I don't do that at all. If it was for something different, like a different property, and that was established for whatever reason, and it was a good story, I don't. But if you establish The Walking Dead as, you know, they don't talk, and then all of a sudden some new showrunner comes on and says, I know what will blow fans' minds, let's have them talk, I'm gone. Peace. For everyone asking, they're vultures because it seems like they wait for people to die out and feed off them by taking their... Yeah, that's exactly why they're calling them the vultures. Vultures will just fly around when they see like a wounded or dying animal, and then when it's died, dead completely, I believe they do fly around them, and it's just to make sure they do die, and then they go down and then they pick off the... So the vulture doesn't actually kill the prey, it just waits for you to die. That's basically what these people are doing, the vultures in the show. Smith said, I really liked the episode. Solid 7, 8 out of 10. If people were liking Fear the Walking Dead seasons 2 and 3, I think they should really like this episode. For me, this is one of the better episodes, especially with what they're doing, a little bit they're doing with the characters. Definitely a big improvement. Beth said 10 out of 10. I loved it. It was not my favorite episode, but it was decent. Said group of gamers incorporated. Naomi looked like she went through hell. Yeah, I'm interested to see what her story is, because we know a little bit about the other people, especially the journalists. We get the point of that, which I was a little surprised, but it seems like they're doing the backstory fair enough without having to rely on the journalist aspect, you know. But I'm sure she'll play a role in pulling some backstory out of Nick or something, you know. Would you be disappointed if the stadium only lasted the one episode and then by next episode it's explained that it's just over? Well, by the way you make it sound, yeah, that's horrible. But if in the next episode the Vultures run them out of there and we only get a stadium for one episode, but it's still cool, yeah, I don't care. The stadium could come and go. I really don't care. But it would be nice to last there for a little bit and see what kind of story unfolds. Eric, you're talking about the audience telling what's past and what's not. Yeah, they did now on the screen, and I don't blame the people making the show for that. I blame stupid fans. And maybe I shouldn't be that mean, but if you see Nick doing the hammer and they transition with the sound and they show Nick with the hammer in present day banging on the truck, without seeing now, I immediately knew, yes, they went from that happened in the past and this is happening now. You don't need the word. You really don't. I would prefer it if they didn't do the word. You know what I mean? You don't need to spoon feed it to the audience. But, and I'm going to say something mean here, but there was a lot of people who did not get the Terminus shit in The Walking Dead. And it was fucking clear as day. Now, here's the thing. It was clear as day if you're watching it, you know, paying attention. Like, if you're watching but you're not zoned in, oh yeah, you might have, oh, maybe I need to rewatch that, and then you get it. There's a lot of things I rewatch and I get it, you know, in the second viewing. I don't mean it like that. If you were like, I am completely confused and da-da-da, rewatch it again and you're still absolutely lost, I don't know what to tell you, because it's clear as hell. But yeah, they don't need that now and then shit. Why not just kill them when they show up? That I think the only reason they don't is because they don't know how many guns they have on the flip side, you know? Ronnie, do you think Daniel could be the head of the Vulture group and the villain of the season and revealed at the mid-season finale? I mean, he could be, but at this time, I don't know if that fits his style. Not only that, if he was, why isn't he there? You know what I mean? I don't know if that fits. It makes it seem like they did that unless they explain a reason for him not being there. They have him not there because they want to reveal it later on, which is a little flimsy in my opinion. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat support from Rick Grimes. Camp Northern Light says, Ronnie, do you like Z Nation if you watch the show? What is it? Z Nation is pretty good. I think there's a typo there, but no, I don't watch Z Nation. I get it, people like it, you know, I'm not knocking it, but for me, Z Nation is everything that's ever been wrong with the zombie genre rolled into one. And I get it, it's campy and it's comedic and yada yada yada, but maybe that's just it. Like if it's, you know, I feel like it wants to be that campy, it's so good it's bad type or comedic. But then there's some parts where it just takes itself too serious. I don't know. For me, it doesn't work. So the signs with the numbers on it stands for how many walkers are in the area. That's what it looks like, but it could also have another meaning. I'm waiting to find out. Ronnie, why doesn't Madison and her group just take out the Vultures? And what do you think of the sneaky little girl? The sneaky little girl is just doing what she got to do. I mean, she's a kid. You know what I mean? As far as the Vultures, again, she doesn't know how much guns and ammo they got. Watermelon says to clean up the mess, the Vultures and Buzzards are awesome. They also urinate on themselves to clean themselves and all kinds of really interesting stuff. Okay. Giovanna, wait, did I say it right? Giovanni. Even though the name zombie doesn't exist in The Walking Dead, well, what if someone comes up with the name gets around the world and people start using it? Well, there's just no point at that point. You know what I mean? They made it, there's a reason they don't use the word zombie, so they're not going to create the word in the story. You know what I mean? Because then what's the point of not using the word? You just use it. Kim says, hey Ronnie, do you think the new cast has potential to become main characters and surpass the original cast? No. I think they have potential to become main characters and one day be like what a Daryl Dixon is on The Walking Dead. He's one of the main characters, but he's an original, you know, he is from the original season. I mean, he's an original show character, but like a Michonne and Maggie, they came in different seasons. They're not season 1 characters, but for me, they are pretty much, you know what I mean? I look at them as crucial as or there's as big a connection with them as there are with season 1 characters. So yes, they have a potential to become the main, but as far as surpassing the original cast, I don't think so. Right up there with them, yes, absolutely. Some of them might get a bigger audience than the original cast. Oh, hell yeah. But I don't think at this time they're going to take over the series from them. Ratty Gaming, so I only caught the episode 10 or so minutes in, so it could have already been debunked, but was the stadium potentially the one from the Commonwealth? No. It's in a different location, and it would be too crazy to use that for Commonwealth. Hey Ronnie, where's Daniel? Hope they didn't kill him off. I don't know, but I hope they didn't kill him either. Let me see, what do we got here? We got Sam Black with a $20 super chat support. Hey Ronnie, is it me or are the characters actually acting smart on a supply run? Especially when Madison clicks her radio when she's being held up by Naomi to warn the others she's in danger. Love smart stuff like that. Absolutely. You know, thank you very much for bringing that up. I absolutely love when they add these smart things in. It did get me a little annoyed when Naomi kind of ran away and she got to the high ground because it made it seem like they were just staging it for the next scene to happen. But it's a small thing. That's a nitpick. The girl was scared, probably tired, probably on the road. She was just, you know, trying to get away, and she didn't have any other paths. I could see somebody doing some shit like that and then thinking, oops, this was a mistake. But yeah, I think the characters, you don't need your characters to do something stupid to get conflict. You could just have other people do something smart. You know what I mean? I bet the destruction of the stadium happens in the mid-season finale. I was wondering the same thing. Steven says, Ronnie, do you think Daniel could be the head of the Vulture? Okay, we got a lot of people asking that. I don't think so. It just doesn't fit his. Just doesn't fit him. You know. What else we got? Ronnie, do you think Strand will end up in a relationship with Cole? Yeah, I think they're setting up Cole to be one of those deaths. You know what I mean? Or maybe they're setting him up to be a character, but I got the vibe they're setting him up to go down. They won't just let Walker and Daniel vanish off camera. I hope not. Oh my God, I forgot about Walker. Wasn't there somebody else? There was Walker and then his buddy. Yeah, yo, where is Walker? Unless they did. I mean, they could have. Not Daniel, I feel like. Daniel, well, no. They could let both, to be honest. That would suck. Who all is left from The Walking Dead Season 1? You got Rick, you got Carol, you got Daryl, you got Morgan, obviously. Who else? We got Rick, Carol, Daryl. I'm forgetting somebody, ain't I? I forget. I think I'm missing someone. Wait, when the trucks rolled up, I was like, oh shit, here comes the saviors. That's funny. Oh yeah, Crazy Dog. That's his name. Correct me if I'm wrong, but are these the first real Fear the Walking Dead big bad villains? Well, it depends. If they last, yeah, they're big bad villains. But we had others. We had that weird group that was stealing boats and shit, and then they were gonna kill people. We had the girl, Strand's boyfriend's mother with the weird. I mean, those are big bads, but they didn't last long enough to be like big bads. What are your favorite shows to watch during the Walking Dead off season? It matters on what's on and what's airing, to be honest. Like when Stranger Things comes on, I love that. Westworld is coming back any day now, I think. I can't wait to watch that. Yeah, there's a handful of really good shows. Nothing I'm watching at this time. I think I'm waiting for Game of Thrones, Westworld, stuff like that. Better Call Saul. Really interested in checking that new season out. Yeah, that's funny. Just Flo said, if Doomsday Kingdom would be a TV show in the future, who would you choose as the lead? Well, that would be nice. Two things, though. I don't get to choose, so it really doesn't matter. And two, chances are, I wouldn't even know right now. You know what I mean? Because it would probably be someone who's less known. So, but like I said, it wouldn't even be up to me. But that'd be fun to play around with. Ronnie, I've only read 2 issues in the comics, but I heard the Whispers and Commonwealth. But what if they both show up at the same time on the show? I actually did a video on that. If you want to check that out, it's on the channel. There is a possibility they are likely doing that in a way. Not full force at the same time, but Whispers, and then slowly start putting some Commonwealth storyline, laying the groundwork. It's very likely that's going to happen. Jasmine said there was this dumbest comment last week where they said they changed it into The Walking Dead. It's ruined. They only showed the original for 5 seconds. I was like, are you serious? I'm not sure I even understand that, to be honest. There might be hope with Tobias coming back. Which character arc for Season 4 are you most interested in? Well, obviously Morgan's the crossover character. My interest there is also based on, will he return? Is he going to stay on the show? What are they doing with him? But if I can, that's too easy, right? If I could take somebody other than Morgan, I think someone I'm the most interested in, it's got to be either Nick or maybe his sister. Either Nick or his sister. Ronnie, where does Mel get his hair done? I don't know. What about Proctor John? I was under the assumption that he's dead or dead or gone, and that was just a season 3 bad guy. He's not going to be around again. You think Carl wrote Maggie and Daryl letters that'll make them change their minds? No. No, I don't think so. Do you think Morales is the leader of the Vultures? Oh, definitely. I'm excited to say this to everyone who crapped on the premiere. You didn't. What did you say? Season 4 feels like a soft reboot of the show. I hear that. I definitely hear that. Does Fear need a big bad like Negan or the Governor, or should they stay with Season 1 villains? I see. That's tricky. Fear can succeed doing either or. So it's rough, which one do I pick? If you write a good story, there's potential to do either or. And it both would work, with the right story. So do you think Daniel's still alive? I hope so. Do you think it'd be cheesy to bring him back after supposedly being dead for the second time in the series? Is he dead, though? I might be missing something. I didn't know he died at the end of season 3. Or it made it... I assumed everyone was alive. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I gotta rewatch that. As of right now, who's your favorite and least favorite Fear character? Favorite is Lucy. She's fucking fine. And she is probably annoyed me the absolute least. The actors, though, have a lot of potential. If they continue on this road of doing good with the actors, I'm going to really get connected to Madison and Alicia and Nick like I never was before. Nick, though, with the previous storylines, they have annoyed me in the character choices. As far as least favorite character on Fear, I don't know. I'm going to have to go with Naomi, I guess, and that's only because I don't really know her. I don't know what her story could possibly be. She's just some random survivor, you know what I mean? Ronnie, do you think the Vultures even have the firepower to take on... Oh, I have no idea. And I think that's where the dilemma comes in. Also, Charlie is basically what people thought Enid was at first. Yeah, that's funny. Charlie is Enid. I bet the Whisperers War, the Commonwealth will wipe out the rest of the herd. I bet after. Where's Madison? Did the Vultures take her, and that's why the main group is looking for them? Oh yeah, that's right. Madison wasn't in the group. I totally forgot about that. Maybe. Have you watched season 2 of Santa Clarita Diet? Yeah, I think that's hilarious. I love that shit. Todd Murray, do you think about before being bright yellow? What do you think about the before being a bright yellow filter and the present day being all dark and gray? Shouldn't it be the other way around? I don't know. Did they do the filter shit? I don't think you need to do anything. I think it's easy enough for people to tell what's going on, but I think claimed group will be a part of it. They were on the Red Machete. I don't think so. Unless you're talking about something different. Do you think it would have been better off if instead of Mel, it was Proctor John who pulled up on them? No, I was never... Listen, I really like the Proctor John actor a lot. He's been in a lot of great stuff. But I don't understand why everyone wants him to come back. Based on the actor, it would have been cool for him to continue being the villain. But the story and where it took place, it just doesn't make sense to bring him back, in my opinion. They would have to explain that really good, because that's like you met on here and separated, but you found each other, and then you got separated again, found each other. I'm talking about the family, and at the same time you literally ran into the villain this from last season, who it's been a year or 2 years, and it's also been you traveled to Texas. So yeah, they'd have to explain that really good for me to buy that. Q&A. I hope the show flashbacks to show what happened between seasons. I think they'll do a little bit, yeah. Completely changed Nick's character. He used to walk amongst the dead covered in blood. Now he's afraid to leave the place. Yeah, I don't think they changed his character. I think they're hinting at something happened to Nick, and it's not. I don't think it's completely about the walkers. I think that plays a part in it, but something happened where he just had way too close of a call, and he gets a little anxious now being on the outside. So I think that's something intriguing. If the payoff is good, that could be something really cool to incorporate in the story. Like, what happened to him that was that traumatic, where he just gets a little anxious being out there. Is this the final season for Fear? No. Alicia Strand and Nick are the only characters I really care for, says T. Gilly. Jay Morris asked, Daniel was shot and beaten up badly and was seen leaving with Nick in the finale. When the dam blew up, we never saw him. Strand had shot him. Just wanted to catch you up. That's right. I remember now he did get shot in the face. Yeah, I don't think that face thing was enough to kill him. I mean, that was probably pretty brutal. If it got infected, yeah, he probably would have died. But in, TV show timeline, he's probably alive. Madison had some bad ADR this episode. I got bad speakers in my TV, so I probably didn't even notice it. But when I watch it with headphones on Amazon, I'm sure it'll be really clear. It looks like we got a little lag. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with YouTube tonight. This is just iced tea or piss. It looks like piss. I think something's going on with YouTube tonight. That's what the lag is, because it wouldn't let me go live for like 20 minutes. Do you think we'll get a big death this season? I think we might. Or do you think a few characters to wait? Or do we have only a few characters to work with? I think we'll get one solid death. I don't think we can afford more than one if they're really rebuilding it. Unless they're cleaning house. That's a different story. The before and now felt so similar to The Walking Dead at Terminus. You think they took that idea from the original show? Nah, it's just a common thing in Hollywood. I mean, it's been so overused. It's been in so much, so I don't think that had anything to do with it. Don Sims, do you think the rock Strand had came from the dam? Maybe a reminder of what he did there, and he feels super guilty about it. It could have been. Dylan said, do you have any death predictions for the season? I'm thinking Lucy or Madison. I would have to watch a little more. Lucy I think that's a safe bet for a death prediction just because of what it would do for Nick's character. I hope they don't go that route, though, because that's a little bit too safe. And she's easy on the eyes, man. Leave her around a little. No, she has a nice charisma, too, as an actress, so I really want to see that story play out. But as far as death predictions, a major one, I think I would have to watch another episode or two just to see what direction the story's going. For example, just to give you an example, the journalist, she could, what's her name, Al? She could just be there to extract some backstory, and then in 7 episodes, she could get killed after she pulls, Morgan and John together with the original Fear the Walking Dead group, and they got a nice solid core now. Something happens and da-da-da. So in a few episodes, we can kind of see where the stories are going, and it'll make it easier to pinpoint. Because at this time, it's too difficult. I mean, anyone here could be being propped up as a main player for later on. Do you think they crossed Morgan over to Fear? What's the reason, and is he going to go back? The reason was definitely for ratings, absolutely. And will he go back to The Walking Dead? I hope so. Slizzle says, do they should introduce more groups like the Claimers? Do I think they should? I'd be careful with that, but I think that they should definitely run into smaller groups. I think they should run into smaller groups, have little conflicts that don't have conclusions, like you run into a few assholes and then never see them again. I think we should introduce stuff like that and flesh the world out a little more. It does get a little unrealistic how There's no story for the original show. There's no story for our heroes. So they travel from one place, 600 miles, and they don't see anybody. I mean, that is a little ridiculous. They should have ran into multiple little clusters of communities, or little groups of people traveling. Like, for example, in Doomsday Kingdom, the world is very different than in The Walking Dead, but you have that where characters are traveling, and you just like look over and see another little group of 3 or 4 people in the woods. You guys don't even say nothing to you, just out of the corner of your eye. They're just looking at each other to make sure there's none popping off, and you just keep it moving, because this is such a fractured world. If you stopped for every little group of 1 or 2 survivors, you'd be having a mobile army, and no one can do that shit. You know what I mean? Especially when people have got places to go and certain things to do. Do you think Lucy is a badass? Yes, so. Yes, I do. I mean, Jay Morris. I noticed that this episode they explained some of the backstory through verbal dialogue rather than blatant flashback exposition. Would you rather them do the flashbacks or both? I'm good with both. Flashbacks are fine as long as it's not just wasted. Like, if it's something small, just tell us, get it over with, and get to something good in the present day. Because flashbacks don't do anything for us, usually, It just fleshes some things out. And if it's not really emotional or important, it doesn't really do anything. Except for give us some information. And they could do that by talking. Do you think Morgan will cross back over to The Walking Dead? I hope so. I think there's a chance he might, yeah. Low Key said, Alicia, stop being annoying since season 2. Come at me, she's a queen. You just think she's hot. Brain the Man. Fear will bring back some characters back later. They're setting up some good, shocking comeback moments for a character like Daniel or Walker. I hope so. Do you think the kid Charlie released the Weevils? I thought maybe the kid or the group had something to do with the farm going kaput, but I don't know, to be honest. I think it's a little bit of a stretch, I think I don't know. They might just be vultures, but we'll have to see. Taylor Ryder said, Ronnie, do you watch Ash vs. Evil Dead, and are you disappointed it's getting canceled? Yes and no. Yes, I bought and watched the first season. I was going to get around to the second season. I still will. The second and third, I think. But the comedy horror is something I like, but I got to be really in the mood or have some spare time on my hands. It's not something that I got to stay, tuned into. I definitely enjoy it. I love the monsters. I love some of the silliness to it, but it's not a priority, you know what I mean? And I could definitely see why it's getting canceled. It's weird. It's one of those things where it's fun, but it's movie fun, at least for me. And I feel like for a lot of others, it's not something where I want to watch 8 or 9 or 12 hours for multiple seasons in a row. I feel like maybe if they did I don't know. We'll get into that in another day, but I'm not disappointed it's getting canceled, but I'm a little surprised. I thought it was going to hang in there for about 5 or 6 seasons. Out of Athea, Naomi, John, which are you more intrigued by? Probably John. Athea would be next and Naomi last. There's just nothing there interesting. I think Kim got a facelift during the break. What you think? Oh, I have no idea. I don't think so. Alicia's hair is too perfect for the apocalypse. There was that one moment, yeah. There was that one moment where the next day it was like, okay, come on, bitch. What is this, a fucking shampoo commercial? Jesus Christ. Real people that I meet every day out in the world don't look that fucking good. Shut the fuck out of here, bitch. But it was that one scene, so I don't care. It's like, she looked roughed up when it mattered, so I'm fine. Wait. Doesn't Nick in the episode remind you of Premiere Season 4 Rick because of wanting to stay inside and farm? Yeah, you could see it that way. Sure, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it is different though because of the thing. But basically, you have somebody who used to go out and do shit in the new world, and now they want to just not do that and then farm. Yeah, it's the same thing. Gavin's Ghosts. Finding the smaller or individual survivors and scavenging new locations is what makes it good for me. Javin Grant says, what had happened to Nick? I have no idea. Musical Chef, what are your thoughts on Travis's death? I wish he was still alive. They messed up with his death after he survived the zombie pit. Yeah, my thoughts are still the same. I think that was probably one of the dumbest deaths on the show. Not the actual death. I think the actual death is tragic and heartbreaking. I think that is just absolutely terrible. In a good way. I love terrible shit in these types of shows, but it's such a fucking awesome death that I think was done at the wrong time to the wrong character. I just strongly disagree with all of that. But again, like I said, imagine that. Like, bullets come up from the bottom, they rip open your guts, and you're saying, help me to get the door open because you want to throw yourself out, and you're shot in the neck also. And Alicia thinks you're saying, help me because you got shot. But no, man, he's saying, help me, I need to throw myself out of the helicopter. It's a badass death that, in my opinion, was just done poorly in a few different ways. Do you think the savior guy that wanted to help Maggie will become TV Dante? I hope not. Wait, go back. Mr. Midnight said, go back and watch last season. All the chin and forehead lines she had, they're gone. I'll go look. There's THERE, by the way. I'm teasing. Yeah, there you wrote is like possessive. Like, it's their car. Anyway, Joey Cat 1000. Do you think Alpha will come from Fear the Walking Dead to The Walking Dead and turn into the Alpha we know and love? No, I don't think so. I hope not. That type of character is a shocking reveal moment. It's not the type that you build up and showcase. You know what I mean? It's the twisted type of shock that needs to just be like, oh, boom, oh, fuck, those are people. Wearing what? It's not where you follow this person and they go through some shit and next thing you know they're airing out, skinned human flesh and they're molding it into a fucking mask and then you get to understand them. It's not that. I mean, you can understand them later. Fine, flesh out the characters. That'd even be interesting. But I don't think it's something you should prop up ahead of time and follow from one show to the next. I don't put it past them to do something like that, though, which is a little unfortunate. I don't think that's something they should do. Lisa Jet with a $10 super chat support. Hi, Ronnie. Hey, Ronnie. Sorry. Thank you very much for that support. And hello. How are you doing tonight? What else we got? Strand is less socially awkward. Eugene. Do anything to survive. Low Key says, she is hot, Ronnie. But I also like her development. Don't question my love again. And he's talking about Alicia. What else we got here? Let me scroll down. Okay, so we are Dylan Patrick. Question: if shit hit the fan in real life and the world ended, where would you go at first? Probably the pharmacy. You stock up, get some alcohol. I think not like drinking, partying alcohol, but maybe alcohol you need to barter or for some wounds and stuff. But probably one of the first places I would hit would be a pharmacy. I'd load up on anything you could possibly want and need as far as medicine. And then, it's the end of the world. I'm going to be high as shit. Fucking right. Ducky Plays 19. Did you see the parallel where Lucy drives away, Nick seeing him through the mirror, just like Glenn saw Maggie through the mirror in season 6 in The Walking Dead? Yeah, let's hope it don't go in a similar direction. But yeah, actually thinking back at that scene, you're right. It is, or it seems to mirror itself a lot. I'd have to watch them side by side. I'm interested now that you mention that if they did make it on purpose to look like that, because that wouldn't be the first time. They did Nick walking and they made it, or they filmed it to look like Rick when he was coming into Atlanta. So it wouldn't be the first time. Brittany Smith, hey Ronnie, where do you think Morgan's story is going? I hope that if he stays on Fear, that he becomes Madison's right-hand man or something. To be honest, this is the tricky part. I don't know. Because if you heal him in this journey, he wouldn't have any other reason not to go back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a little flustered with this. Because keep in mind, if you heal him, he's going to go back and be with his people. But if he stays broken, I mean, where can his story go on? Is it going to keep going in circles? So I'm curious, but they got me on that one. Would you say the Fear premiere last week was even better than most episodes from season 8 of The Walking Dead? I wouldn't say that. I'd probably have to look through the episodes. I could pick a couple, absolutely, but I wouldn't say most. Spin 2020. I'm sure that they have been by far less stressed, settled in the stadium with showers and security. Therefore, Madison is looking healthy. Yeah, that is one thing you could help giving it a write-off. Okay, she had shampoo, they got showers. That's fine. But when they start going out on the road, she better look like how she looked in episode 1. Because I know in seasons 2 and 3, it looked ridiculous when they were out on the road, she looked like she was filming a, beauty commercial. Ali says, Ronnie, did you see that the walkers are different now in Fear, and do you think they will start calling them walkers? Yeah, I think so. I mean, think about it. You have Morgan. He mentioned it. So it's the same franchise. Shit like this just confuses me a little because you know what's an easy fix? Walkers are nationally known, you know? The radio and TV and shit like that, it's not going to go down instantaneously. So you're going to have someone coin the word walkers, you know, and they'll put that on the news somewhere, and it gets a few plays, and pretty much a lot of people call them walkers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an easy solution, an easy fix to keep the zombies, you know, as walkers throughout the world, throughout the franchise. But they decided to have Morgan go, and I think he'll spread it, and they might as well take advantage of that. As far as they're different, how so? What do you mean? Wait, the Vultures got records, think they are cool with Georgie, ? I was afraid of this, though. We're going to see a ton of people go, oh my god, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. There may be a connection somewhere down the line. There might be, you know, some type of connection. It'd be interesting if there was a soft connection, but this is where we got to really draw the line. How many connections to the original show do we need? If they're connected to Georgie, we already have Morgan here. I am like, no more, that is it, because then it's just going to get ridiculous. Everyone we run into is from, you know, the original show. Come on now. Wait. Deja Loved says, don't the Vultures obviously have a much larger community? It seems unrealistic that all they would have is what's camping in their parking lot. Oh, you mean they have a larger community elsewhere? It really made it seem like they are traveling in a mobile community. That's the vibe I got. But they could absolutely have a different community. Absolutely. That's definitely possible. They could also stay on the road, which is why they have the signs that could be or could tie into how they navigate. Low key, no pressure with a $5 super chat. Ronnie, how do you feel about the cinematography and directing this season so far? P.S. I'm a woman, Ronald. My bad. You could still have the hots for Alicia. I mean, if I was a woman, I would. As far as the cinematography for these 2 episodes, I'm not noticing it, which is a huge compliment because last season especially, I couldn't stand being ripped out of the scene because either the camera was shaking, the angles were off or weird, or just lazy or stale. This season is, so far, again, only 2 episodes, it's smooth where it's not noticeable. You know what I mean? It's not pulling me out at the moment. So far I'm happy with it. Slizzle Why do you think they don't have our group out struggling to survive more? 2 ranches, a yacht, a dam, and a stadium. Yeah, I'm hoping we get there, but it has been a little easy for them, huh? Wait, we got a negative comment here. 20 Fief Bruce says, Fear has to be the worst spin-off of a show I've ever seen in my entire life. Cringeworthy acting, emotionless acting, atrocious writing, etc. It's like the crappiest throwaways the writers could find. And you still feel that way going into season 3. You're not happy at all with any of the improvements. And I do think there's definitely strong improvements, especially the emotionless acting. I think we're getting a night and day version of Madison, as far as that. She was really stale in seasons 2 and 3. Watermelon Monster Man says, Morgan ripped dude's guts out was probably my favorite part of season 8. Yeah, that was badass. Ted Warg says, Ronnie, if you hit up a pharmacy, don't forget the painkillers. Hells no. Never forget. Do you think the savior guy that wanted to help Maggie will become... I already did this one. You son of a bitch. Open your ears. I hope not. Ronnie, do you think they should just have put the scenes in chronological order, or is it too early to tell? I think it's too early to tell. But I don't want them in chronological order, because then you have to go, okay, this is what happened after the dam. Hard cut. Here's what happened with the settlement. Hard cut. Here's them running into these people. Hard cut. Here's them running into Morgan and them. When you play around with the timeline, now you can have them run into Morgan now. If they were going to go in chronological order, we probably wouldn't get them meeting Morgan until like episode 5. You know what I mean? Because they have to show us everything first. Dude, guys, with a $5 super chat. Wait a minute, where'd your comment go? Hey, what's up? Just got here. When do you think they're going to find out about Daniel? By the way, I have 96 subscribers, almost a 10th of 1,000. Awesome, man! Congratulations. Find out about Daniel. We are gonna find out about Daniel. I hope soon. I hope really soon. Thank you very much for the super chat support. Taylor Ryder says, hey, Ronnie, do you think they'll ever kill off Madison? I think it's possible. At this time, it looks like they're building her up, though. And it's either they're building her up to have a fall, or they're building her up because she's going to be around for a while. What weapon would you want to see in Fear the Walking Dead or The Walking Dead? Well, here's the thing. It gets a little tricky. I don't think I have a weapon specifically. So it would be something that is new to me, interesting. So since it's new and surprising, it'd be something I'm not already familiar with. Because other than, they got pretty much everything, unless it's something different that's not as used. A baseball bat with barbed wire is something that we've seen before, but not in... It's so rarely used, it feels fresh when Negan used it. You know what I mean? So... it's pretty much obvious that guy lets the walkers out on them. Wait, Dragon Ball Radiant. It's pretty much obvious that guy lets the walkers out on them. Yeah, they could do that. I hope not, though. We have done that quite a bit on The Walking Dead. ZFR Entertainment. Ronnie, what do you think about Morgan making it back to the original show just in time to be the first one to run into the Whisperers and be the one to warn Maggie? Feels a little rushed. If they do that and it works, I don't know. It just feels a little rushed. If they do it and it works, I'm fine. As long as the stories work, I'm pretty much fine with anything. Q&A. It seemed a bit stupid to use the stadium speaker to wake up and greet everyone in the morning. Those things are really loud and would definitely call the attention of possible looter groups. I don't really notice. I do know there's been certain sounds in a stadium. Again, I don't know about all. I don't know about everything, but a lot of times they're so big when you go up to a stadium, the sounds you're hearing on the inside, you're not hearing on the outside. Certain sounds and buzzers and bells and da-da-da, yeah. But some of them, that might have been one of those sounds where it's loud for the group in there, but outside of there, it doesn't project as wide, you know? That might be one. Todd Murray says, do you think maybe Nick and Daniel grew close after escaping the dam, that maybe Daniel dies a harsh death like Noah's giving Nick PTSD? That could be something. Ronnie, the walkers from Mexico look so dumb. Now they look like the Walking Dead zombies. Oh, is that what you meant? Alyssa Jet with another $10 super chat. I haven't seen yet, but I love the new show. But come on, if not Troy, we need Daniel. I agree with that. I strongly agree with that. Thank you very much for the support. Do you think the show could merge into one show eventually? Asked Brian. Then it will just be The Walking Dead. No, because then you're making less money. You know, you're taking Fear the Walking Dead. It's making this much money. You're just throwing that away. If Fear the Walking Dead is making, let's say, it makes you own it. It makes you $5 million a year. Okay. Imagine if I said, dude, let's combine both shows, and you make $5 million less every year. You'd probably get slapped for mentioning it. The only way they would combine them, if they were gonna do that, is if Fear did so bad it was actually costing them money, or they weren't even making any money. Then yeah, they gotta ditch it. So either get rid of it, cancel it, or combine it. That'd be the only way. But if it's still making money and it's still successful to some degree, there's no way you're going to combine them, because you're not going to make that money anymore. You're not going to make that money anymore, so it would be pointless, you know. Do you think... yeah, we already covered that. Spin 2020. Do you think that they will have a secret escape at the stadium like they did at the Hilltop? I would imagine if it came to that, they've got to have something planned out. I think Morgan's purpose is to bridge the gap, merge the worlds and storylines if they want to. I agree partially. If you want to know my deeper explanation, I did a video called Beyond the Crossover. I still think Morgan would be perfect. He would be a perfect tool to utilize for that. One Fear characters going to The Walking Dead going to Fear, but not merging them, because one revenue stream would completely, disappear if you did that, because you'd have to get rid of it. But if you played your cards right and they were located close to each other, you could have characters flip-flop into different shows. But the story shouldn't be absorbed by who's doing what. Or taken over, by, like, if Madison is in Fear, or I'm sorry, The Walking Dead, the original show, if she's in an episode or two, the story shouldn't revolve around her because it's her. It shouldn't be her because it's her. It should be a scene where she's there as a supporting, not the main. Because now you're taking the Walking Dead story and you're forcing Madison's story into it. I fucked up that explanation, but one day I will explain it better. How about if you merge the shows and it's called The Fear in The Walking Dead? Yeah, Troy is dead. We're just joking around. Fear in Walking in Las Vegas. Oh, Jesus. All right, down to last couple comments here. Doomsday Kingdom update, ? Great episode. For anyone with the pre-orders, a real quick update, and then we'll have issue 3 update coming. But pre-orders are shipping any day now. The moment I get them in, and they should be arriving here literally any day now. I mean, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's got to be any moment now. We've been waiting for a bit, so. And that's the actual physical copies of the comic, and we're going to start shipping the orders that aren't put for hold. We still need another week, and we'll know where we're at with issue 3, and then we'll make an announcement. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Game time of awesomeness. You asked about the walker that Morgan buried. I think he's just going back to what he did with Eastman and shit like that. But you said, did it have something to do with Jared? At first, I just assumed that because it was the long hair and it was a plaid shirt. So I just didn't even think about it. I was like, oh, they're just Jared. But someone in the comments, and thank you very much for whoever put this, but they mentioned that Morgan saw he had a torn pant leg, and the guy he gave medicine to in the truck, I guess he had a wound on his leg. So it was the walker was the guy he tried to help, and the guy ended up dying anyway. You know what I mean? So I think that's what they were going for, and it wasn't Jared, it was that guy. So uh, I got to rewatch it. You know, I haven't watched it again, but I'm assuming they were going for something small there, but again, not Jared related. Wait, Ronnie, what do you think of Maggie now? I think she shouldn't be the leader because Rick should be the leader of everyone. Well, you got different communities. I don't agree with that. You have different communities, you know. So Rick shouldn't be leading the Hilltop. You know, he doesn't live there. He's not with them, but having Hilltop leader connecting with the leader of Alexandria, I think that's set up perfect. And I view what Maggie said not as like we're going to go against Rick and Michonne, but I view that as, yeah, they were right about this. They were wrong about this. Negan needs to die. And we're going to show Rick he's wrong. So we're going to wait. I view that, I don't view that as something that's, like an evil scheme she's brewing up. I just view that as Maggie knows Rick is going through something with his son and everything else, and he's trying to do the right thing, but Negan needs to die, and we're gonna show him. So, right. Rebecca says you think Maggie's gonna die in season 9 because they don't want to deal with her contract. Yeah, we're gonna discuss her contract coming up. It's been a week, I think, a week or 2 weeks. I'm going to look for some more information. Hopefully they put out a little more about that. What if Fear ended and they joined the walk? All right, we already covered that like 500 times. No, it's special. Wait, Ronnie, any thoughts about Fear premiere getting 4.1 million views? It's definitely an improvement and could help the show's popularity. Yeah, thoughts? It's a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing. We need it to continue on to get good stories, some zombie content. Michael Grimes, who would win in a fight? I have no idea. Strand or Nick, no weapons? I have no idea. Chris Rambo, how would you feel about Fear ending with Madison dying and Morgan bringing the rest of the group? Wait a minute. Is everyone wanting these shows combined or what? That's all I'm seeing is combining the shows. If they did that, I'd be fuming. There's no reason to combine both shows. I don't know if I missed something, but what were they building in the dugout? That was a cool moment. I should have wrote that down. She was using the drill to put a firework inside the baseball, and then they shoot it out as a distraction. I think Nick was just helping with some farming stuff, help the irrigation and shit like that. I don't know, some stuff like that, but that's it, just stuff around the community. But she was making that distraction device. I hope Morgan makes it back to Rick. Yeah. Frankie, The Walking Dead has to do a time jump because there's nothing interesting that comes out of the end of the war, and that's it. Like there's nothing, you know what I mean? With the time jump, you just refresh the whole series, and it's season 9. It needs this, it benefits from this. Watermelon Monster Man said, what the heck kind of answer is that? Was that something I said? Do you think Fear being less popular and no character having a huge fan base means they can be more lenient with deaths? No, I think if it's less popular, you got to be more careful with it, you know? If you killed off one of the characters that has the biggest fan base and you're already hurting in ratings, you're fucked, you know? No. Were there webisodes of what happened between season 3 and 4 of Fear the Walking Dead, or did I miss something? I don't understand how they got to the stadium after the dam. They just didn't show it yet. We're gonna see it later. There's no webisodes. They're just right now. All you need to know is they found each other after the dam and they found the settlement. They explain that in this episode. But coming up, I'm sure they're gonna give us more information about everything after season 3. Yeah, we're going to have a season 9 death predictions. I never do my death predictions immediately after the season ends. I like to let it sit a little. Ideally, to be honest, I like to do it right before the season begins, because I just think if I do death predictions immediately after a season ends, I'm just doing it for views. You don't know anything until you see a trailer, to be honest. Even then, it gets tricky, because they could take a character where, like, what are we doing with Daryl now? His story's only going so far. He could die. And then it turns out they have this big thing with Daryl, and it's going to, be a main staple of season 9. There goes your death prediction. Just because you didn't wait to see the trailer and then get an idea. But I will try to do a small one before soon, okay? And then I'll do my main one when the trailer is released. Wait, was it just me, or did Madison, all dirty after the oil tanks, look a lot like Sarah Connor? That's funny. A little bit, yeah. Are they still making the Last of Us movie? Yes, but I don't have any news about that. Dude, guys, you were disappointed in season 8, and you asked what I liked in season 8. We're ending the podcast. Yeah, we're ending the live after show now in another couple minutes. So there's definitely not enough time. I would need a whole after show, but I was thinking about doing a video going over the pros and cons of the whole season. Now I need a bit, because I don't want to just do it from memory. I actually want to go back and re-watch most of the episodes and do a real list, like a real honest list. If I just do it now, I'm going to forget some shit, you know what I mean? So just give me some time. If you guys like that idea, if that's a video you guys want to see, let me know. But I think a pro and con for season 8 would be good. I would like to do, ideally, a good pro and con list for all of the seasons. I think it'd be interesting to take a look at them all. What did you think of Madison jumping into the oil tank to help out? I thought it was annoying, considering she had just had her at gunpoint. Well, I think the thing with Madison, though, is she could see that the girl was just scared. And you gotta, if you're in that situation and you look at this person and you're like, this person thinks that, like, we are a real threat. She's terrified. Madison sees her as just this poor thing that's just absolutely terrified. She didn't view her as, oh, this piece of shit pulled a gun on me, So I was fine with it. They will show how they met up with Lucy coming up. Which one out of the 2 shows do you think the Red Machete will join? Well, that's tricky. Normally I'd say it has to be the main show because of the distance. But if they start showing the machete traveling a distance, it doesn't look like it's traveled too far. They show it, in areas that look like it's, around the way. Then, okay, I could see it making it out there. Ali says, Ronnie, are you ever going to do a Fortnite live stream? Yes, but not for at least a month. I'm having somebody come this week or next week to look at my internet and see what the problem is. When I moved in, I was like, best internet possible, whatever it costs, bada bing, bada boom, give it to me. And obviously, I'm not like I'm the richest bastard in the world. Not the case. I just mean the best internet in the world isn't expensive in this area. We don't have like Google Fiber. I don't have to pay thousands for like amazing internet. It's like standard internet, but it's really good for shit like uploading videos and live streaming. So I was told, yeah, you got the best package, but I have so many problems with the internet. If I'm doing shit, you know, it's fine, but it comes to like live streaming and doing something else, it shuts down. It is so laggy, and even with Fortnite, I noticed playing the game, there's a lot of lag. Like I'm like a half a second behind everyone else, which gets really frustrating. So when I see somebody, even if on my screen I'm shooting them first, my screen like freezes and then I die. It's this weird, like, it's like a half a second. It pisses me off. But so it's not going to be for another month. Games like Outlast, I can live stream that and Last of Us because it doesn't matter if there's a lag. But when you're playing against other people online, the lag will just kill you every time. What would you do if you could create your own new Walking Dead spin-off show? Where and what point in time? I have no idea. Well, that's the thing. If I could create whatever I wanted, it wouldn't be connected in any way, shape, or form. And it would probably be somewhere with snow. That's the most important. And we would probably break away from these big groups, big villains, and just follow a small little group, build up some type of claustrophobic storyline, bring in the more serious threat though with the zombies, come up with something special and neat and cool that's a little bit different. I like the idea of being trapped. I mean, it's you know, winter out or some, you know, winter setting, and I like the idea of not being able to get out of an area because there's so many zombies just in every which direction, and then coming up with stories from that. So I don't know. I'd probably have to sit down and really come up with something. I don't know if Maggie will name her baby Herschel. Most likely, though. What does the phrase "I don't die" mean to Morgan? Well, everyone around him dies. So when he says "I don't die," he's essentially saying, "Don't worry about me. I'm cursed. You know, this is my hell. This is my punishment." So he's not saying, "I don't die. I'm a badass." No, he's saying, "I'm punished." You know, death would be a gift, a release. It would be, you know, that's what he's saying. If you go back and watch season 3, episode 12, it actually fits really well when he's talking about watching his son die and, you know, weak people like him has inherited the earth and shit like that. It actually fits nicely. Wait, could you do an updated top 10 most hated Walking Dead characters? We might do more of those. Do you think Negan will save Maggie or Herschel for her to forgive him? I don't think she's ever going to forgive him, but I think there's a complex story hidden in there that has a lot of potential. Sheldon Arthur says, my son told me I'm too old for Fortnite. What does your son know, huh? Your son doesn't know a goddamn thing. Tell him I said so. And then go play some Fortnite. Frankie says, they already explained the Red Machete. AMC released a video on YouTube. The machete itself ends up with the Saviors. As far as the girl who had it, I think her name was Mandy. Not sure. Yeah, we're talking about after that, though, Frankie. Fucking Frankie. Wake up. We're talking about well after that bullshit. Yeah, they got it, and then they put it in the ground. Someone picked it up. People think it's Alpha. I don't fucking know. Javin, do you think... what do you think about Steve and Yen making one more appearance in The Walking Dead for Maggie and baby Herschel? What for? Okay? For fan service? Yeah, fine. I like them, you know? Bring them on in. But don't make it nothing cheesy. No Ghost Lori shit over here. I agree with the claustrophobia. Alicia trapped in the pantry in season 3 was one of the best fear moments so far. What else we got? Ronnie, I've noticed in UK shows are more willing to clean house than the US shows. Why do you think that is? Honestly, I have no idea. I've never watched a UK show, so I'm not really sure. Let's go. All right. Last question or two. What do we got? Let's make it a good one. Shatterpoint says, do you think Daniel's still alive? I don't know, but I hope so. And will show up at some point this season. He's the main reason I'm watching, aside from Morgan, and I'll be really disappointed if they get rid of him. I think he's got to show up, in all honesty. I would hope so. My shoulder just cracked and it was painful. He's got to show up. I feel like he has to. It would be terrible if he didn't. Chris Rambo says, Ronnie, my uncle... Hold on, did I read that right? Ronnie, my uncle calls me gay for playing Fortnite, but he plays Destiny 2, and he says Fortnite's not for men. What should I say? Tell him to suck your dick. Bruce, where do you realize that everyone was talking about Fear the Walking Dead, which is now an awesome show? Wait. Oh, you're talking to someone else. I love Daniel character. Make him disappointed this season. Yeah, I don't think he should disappear. That would be shitty. I don't know. Someone asked why there's always quilts in the shows. No comforters, or I have no idea, bro. I never noticed that. Ellis Potter said, Ronnie, longtime viewer, a big fan. I doubt you'll read this. You're fucking wrong. And it's fine. I just wanted to say I've been following since probably 10 or 5K. Good work and keep it up, buddy. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I remember the name, too. That goes way back. I remember your name. I appreciate the continued support. Absolutely. Take a walk with me. You seeing Infinity War this weekend? Probably not. I'm in no rush. Unless I hear like rave things about it, I'll go to see it. If it was like, I hate using the word dark, because it gets so overused. But I mean, if it was dark and there was a chance for Iron Man to just be ripped in half and for it to be a bloody, mad, insane, crazy, the biggest villain ever, I'd probably go see it in a heartbeat. But I'm just gonna wait till Juliet's into that stuff, and then we'll go. It's like a family thing. I feel like that's one of the best family type show, or the more adult family, if you get what I mean. It's that borderline. I don't know. Yeah, Morgan called himself weak in clear episode, then in 814. Morgan told Carol, I'm not as strong as you. How would you handle a group like the Vultures? I would go out quietly at nighttime probably and just pick them off one by one. Hopefully in the middle of the night we can at least kill off enough of them for them to either leave or just be straight up dead, all of them. I feel like something bad happened to Daniel since they have Strand with them now, and remember Strand shot him in the finale. Oh, I hope not. Alright, does anyone know what Ronnie thinks of this episode? Walter White is asking when all he has to do is rewind to the very beginning of the fucking video. Ronnie, would you get your nipples pierced if we donated towards it? Not at all. Hell no. Nope. That's not happening. I don't even know if I could pierce my nipples. I'll be honest with you. Straight up. I don't know. You ever see... Well, actually, I was about to say, you ever see a guy with big nipples? And I was just thinking about it. I haven't either, but I would imagine you'd have to have... I got small nipples, man. You're not piercing that shit. There's nothing there to pierce. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's just plain Jane on my chest there, buddy. Why Morgan doesn't see a Benjamin ghost? I don't know. Ronnie, would you go to see an adaptation of Marvel Zombies? I've never found that interesting. Maybe I would go check it out. I'm digging the series even more this season. Glad you're having a change of heart, Ronnie. Does anyone really care if Proctor John came back? Do we know who the Vulture leader is yet? I was assuming the guy talking was the leader, but we might get a surprise later on. As far as Proctor John, I like the actor, and if they would have had him as the leader this season, I probably would have been freaking excited. But because they did it with the show the way they did it, I'm take it or leave it. Have you ever seen Jericho? Yes. Makes Lenny James even more of a badass. Yes, I have. Ronnie, I think that's the first time I remember officially being like, I like this guy for Lenny James. I think the last Walker in Fear episode, and that was before The Walking Dead. And when I seen him in The Walking Dead, I was like, oh, that's that dude from Jericho. I think the last Walker in Fear episode 1 is Rick the actor, not the character, in zombie makeup. Ronnie, I think the last Walker and Fear episode 1. Yeah, this sentence doesn't make any sense. Mark Grant said, I think the last Walker and Fear episode 1 is Rick the actor, not the character in zombie makeup. I haven't heard of Andrew Lincoln being a zombie, so I doubt that's the case. Ronnie, are you going to do a Deadpool 2 review? I'd probably talk about it. I will go see that in theaters. I will go see that. Wait, will Nick relapse into drugs and alcohol again, since what kind of nurse the woman was? I hope not. They already butchered that part of the storyline. I hope they just forget they ever brought it up. Dude guy said, if he dies, I might just walk out of the theater. Well, he doesn't have to die, but you get my point. Like, are we going to get Spider-Man just crushed, like every rib in his body just destroyed? Are we going to, is Captain America going to get his arm ripped off, and is he going to get beat with it? I mean, it doesn't have to be those things, but something, like, especially Spider-Man. Spider-Man would be the perfect candidate for something vicious to happen to him. He doesn't have to die, but I mean, to get hurt, I mean, so bad. In a very emotional way. I think that would just be like, oh my god, that would pull you in, but I don't know. It was a lot of people were hyping up Civil War, and I remember I really enjoyed it, but there was a lot of people hyping it up. One person's definitely going to die, no matter what. We're going to get that one big da-da-da. And no. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, but still at the end of the day, they don't have to die, and I want to make that very clear, but it's the point where it's missing a little something when it doesn't have that definitive or that extreme, it's just, I don't know, there's an emotional aspect, there's that disconnect there. Because, listen, I know how it's going to go. Scary big bad guy's going to come. We got to join forces. We're going to rally. Our heroes are going to lose a little. And then at the last minute, sweaty, dirty, a little bloody, tiny bloody, they pull through and defeat them. Like, that's exactly how it's going to go. It's just, I don't know. I want a little more if it's going to be that color by numbers. Rewind. Laugh my ass off. Ronnie, your 80s is showing. Yep. I don't think I'm ever going to not say shit like rewind, fast forward, shit like that. And now that you say that, I'm thinking, shit, probably a lot of kids out there don't know what the fuck rewind is. And it's like, what? I'm going to slap the shit out you. How do you not know what rewind is? All right, Brandon says, Ronnie, since we got Maggie Grace on Fear the Walking Dead, do you ever think we will have more lost characters? Oh, Maggie Grace on Fear the Walking Dead. Do you think we'll have more lost characters join the zombie genre? That's possible. It depends on if they work together closely like that, and maybe they say, hey, my friend is available for this role, and yada yada yada. That could happen. Taylor Ryder said, Ronnie, worst zombie movie you've ever seen? There's a lot of them. There's some that are terrible. I mean, so bad I don't even remember the names. Like Dead Island, Zombie Island, whatever the hell that shit was. Diary. Pretty much anything that's been out recently, like the Diary of the whatever, all those zombie movies are terrible. I think the Bloodlines, the Night of the Living Dead or Day of the Living Dead or some shit like that, the Bloodlines, that was just terrible. Did anyone also hear Breaking Bad Heisenberg's song in the stadium? That's more of a reason to think they share the same universe. Don't start that shit. They don't. They 100% don't. Joey Cat, 1,000 with a $2 super chat. Tobias is the Vultures leader? Question mark. What a smiley face. Okay, that's it. We're done. We're fucking done. I've had about as much as I can take of this bullshit. Yes, obviously, he is the leader of the Vultures. Fuck. Chris, yeah, we already covered Evil Dead. I like it. It's just when it comes to the comedy and the horror aspect, it's not priority. So for me, it's fun, but I gotta be in the mood. That's about it. Zombievers, oh, that was fucking bad, but funny. Not like funny, it's so bad. A little bit. Which original character from Fear do you think has the least to do with the story as of right now? I mean, it's rough. They're just getting it going, So, I can't pick anyone. I mean, which original? Daniel. He's not even in the story, so he's probably got the least connection. All right, guys, we got to get rolling or I won't be able to get my daughter up for school. I got to get some sleep. Yeah, Bloodlines was awful. And we'll see you guys here again next Sunday, definitely to discuss more about Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 3. And also throughout the week, look for an update video because I'm going to be doing the update video explaining some things that are going to come up because we got a lot of the gaming videos coming out. And I want people to be aware, if you see gaming videos, there's going to be another video uploaded as well a lot of times. So you might see the Fortnite video, for example, because I know a lot of people didn't see the Fear video I uploaded because I did them together or back to back. They were about an hour apart. So a lot of people thought I only uploaded Fortnite. Well, look on the page just in case because a lot of times I'll double upload and people miss the second video. So, but I'm going to post something coming up. Wait, see here, bro. Born in 81, greatest era to be a kid. Yep, hell yeah. Long live the 80s. The 80s, no one liked them when we lived in them, right? The 80s got made fun of all throughout, even in the 80s, in the 90s. It was like you had your 50s, your 60s, your 70s. And I didn't live, obviously, back then, but people talked about them like there was something going on, you know what I mean? There was some level of importance, and 80s was just like, okay, everything's a blended fucking mess. And then we got out of the 80s, and it's probably one of the most nostalgic. Obviously, everyone in the 80s is, now in their 30s or so now it's nostalgic and yada, yada, yada. So it's like the greatest time ever. Especially for entertainment, I think it is one of the greatest moments in entertainment. You had so much awesome shit coming out of the 80s. And Hollywood being just a wasteland of, a desert of creativity. A starving, dehydrated desert. It needs to tap into as much creativity as possible. And, remakes. That's it. Just remake everything. All right, I'm going to get going. I'll see you guys here next week, and then throughout the week, we'll be posting up videos. Thank you, mods, for holding it down. Thank you, everyone, helping out with the Super Chats tonight, the Super Chat support, and the Patreon support. It all keeps the channel going, and I couldn't do it without you. See you guys here next week, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. I fucked that all up. Good night. Oh, boy, I screwed that ending up.